Tonight that you might remember as a Husky or a Minnesota Viking, but some will remember him as a Seagull, an Everett High School Seagull, Chuck Nelson. Those were powerful days.
Yes, the glory days, in fact. And my dream as an Everett Seagull was to make it to the championship game. We never made it, but all of these players here tonight have dreamed this dream for a long time. A lot of seniors on each of these teams. A lot of guys that this may be their last football game that they ever play.
All right, let's take a look and see how both these schools arrived here in the Tacoma Dome. West Valley comes in at 11-0 from Yakima. Their big win in the quarterfinals over Prosser.
Yeah. AA football on the east side of the state is Prosser and West Valley. They've dominated the division for the last few years. One thing to note here, not a lot of points scored by West Valley. 17, 14, and 17. Good defensive efforts, not a lot of points scored. That big win to Prosser certainly got him one step closer.
Speaking of dominating, it's the middle name for this guy, Ricky Dominating Rico, because that's what he's done all year long.
Well, you see the numbers, over 1,000 yards. He's their leading rusher by more than 100 attempts. Incredible player. Also a very dominant player on defense. Last week in the semifinal victory over Rainier Beach, 33 carries for 174 yards. You'll see a lot of Ricky Rico tonight.
All right, the road to the Dome for the Capital Cougars was a short one, in essence. They just had to drive up I-5 from Olympia. But they had a big roadblock in the first round of the playoffs, and that was the tradition in the history of O'Day, and they blasted them.
O'Day, a tremendous winning streak. They've been in the championship game the last couple of years. Got by them in the first round. Note the numbers here for Capital. 37, 35, and 35 points scored. They know how to put some points on the board.
And they do it running the football very similar to West Valley, but they do it in a different fashion with a lot of guys. First is Charles Kentfield.
Yeah, the wing T offense for Capital Cougars. Charlie Kentfield, 1,200 yards, 21 touchdowns. So I'm going to say it again, 21 touchdowns, an incredible number.
But he's not the solo guy. I mean, you've got Anthony Griffin and Cody Lee back there as well.
If Ricky Rico is West Valley's thoroughbred, these are guys that are part of the stable for Capital. Anthony Griffin, a tremendous athlete, 2 punt returns for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, and Cody Lee, almost 11 yards a carry. He had 6 carries for 111 yards in their semifinal victory.
High school football is always a lot of fun. You mix in a state championship and some pressure, and this should be a great show tonight. West Valley and the Capital Cougars, the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Gridiron Classic comes your way next on Fox Sports Northwest. Fox Sports Northwest presents the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Gridiron Classic, the Class AA Football Championship, brought to you by Card Toys, a better way to go, and by Blockbuster Video. Make it a blockbuster holiday. Welcome back to the Tacoma Dome as West Valley and Capital do it for the AA State Championship. Longtime coach of the West Valley Rams, Joe Ordoff, has spent a lot of years trying to get to this game and win it. Back in '86 and '87, he was a runner-up. His football team comes in at a perfect 11-0. Wayne Sortune of the Capital Cougars comes in at 12-1. His only loss, an overtime loss to Aberdeen. But Capital has played very, very well, and they get here. We're joined tonight on the field by Todd Pickett.
Thanks, Rich. Both these teams have had to overcome some adversity in the playoffs to get to the championship game. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Just before they hit the field, Joe Ordoff of West Valley reminded his kids of the phrase that Ricky Rico came up in a team meeting at midseason. No excuses. Leave it on the field. That's been their motto tonight. While Wayne Sortune, well, for Capital, it's unfinished business as they made it to the playoffs for the 6th year in a row. And just before he left the locker room, he challenged his youngsters to leave it on the field as well. Give every ounce of energy that they had so that at the end of the game, no kid can look at the coach and say, I could have played a little bit harder. One of these two teams will hoist the trophy for the first time tonight at game's end.
Thank you, Todd. We'll check in throughout the night. This should be a lot of fun as West Valley gets set to kick it off. Luke Ulacker will boot it away for the West Valley Rams. A junior, and the Mr. Excitement, Anthony Griffin, is back for the Capital Cougars. Chuck, they would like to get him the football in a variety of ways.
Well, he's their punt return man. He's their kickoff return man. He carries the ball a bunch on offense. You can see not only does he touch it every now and again, he does some pretty spectacular things with it when he does.
That kickoff return was a 95-yard job earlier in the season, and we're underway. And it looks like Griffin will get the touch. Anthony Griffin out to the 27-yard line. And he's stopped there by Alex Shiwa, the junior, on special teams. And so the Capital Cougars will start it. Darren Tenerstedt runs this offense, which is a very difficult offense to defend, the wing T. Lots of weapons for this guy, and his numbers as a quarterback pretty impressive, completing 43% of his passes. But for big numbers, he threw for over 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and had 10 interceptions. Football spotted at the 27 at WIAA officials and the crew working tonight's game. They may have trouble with the headsets down on the field. And as you look at Wayne Sortoon, his headsets work. West Valley's headsets do not.
As a general rule, if one team has trouble with their headsets, the other team is basically told you can't use yours either until the other team gets theirs fixed.
Anthony Griffin changes directions and is caught from behind by Brent Burnett. The rest of the lineup for this Capital Cougar team, an offensive line anchored by Eriks, Stoddard, Peterson, and Larson. Camus and Naismith also up front.
And Wayne Sortoon has to be very careful if they get in a short yardage situation and he sends a play and says, run it behind Eric.
Yeah.
Maybe some confusion.
These are the guys that will probably run behind Eric, Kenfield and Griffin. Cody Lee will also carry the football. Tim Isaacson is a big play receiver, and Joe Fratty is a tight end who has caught 8 balls this year. It was a loss of a yard, so it's 2nd and 11. Man in motion is Cody Lee, trying to get outside, and still on his feet. He's knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. The defense for this West Valley Ram team, a defense that, in the words of their coach, Joe Ordoff, is really geared to stop the run. Ricky Rico is up front. Kyle DeLorme is also a tight end. Smith and Lantis in the middle. A linebacking quartet of Burnett, Sloan, Wilder, and Geishan. And a trio of defensive backs. Tyler Hinckley, Chris Piper, and Jess Saxton had that big interception return to help beat Prosser in the playoff march. 3rd down and 4. Left side, Kentfield is stopped.
Run wide on the first 2 downs. 3rd and 4 situation, and go to Charlie Kentfield. Over 200 yards last week in the semifinal win over Stanwood. A great start last week for the Capital Cougars. They dominated Stanwood in the first half. Not so much here today. Last week, their 3rd play from scrimmage went for a 68-yard touchdown.
Wow, the punt is away, and a good one, sending Jamie Sloan back to his 20-yard line. Sloan has some daylight when he's out to the 39-yard line, and that's where the West Valley Rams will put it in play. Their first drive of the state championship game, a 44-yard punt for the Capital Cougars. The Rams come in at 11-0, Mid-Valley champions, and at the controls is a big kid, 6'3", Ryan Allen. His numbers are very impressive. Look at this, Chuck, 63%, almost 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and coaches like just 4 interceptions.
You like that touchdowns to interception ratio. They like to give the ball to Ricky Rico, but they have the capability to throw it with Rylan Allen.
Big surprise, Ricky Rico, right side. And Rico runs into Kyle Naismith, who makes the stop at about the 41-yard line. The men that Ricky Rico will be running behind, the offensive line for this West Valley team. Archer, Bunger, Zero is probably their best offensive lineman, possibly an all-state center, Wantland and Anderson. Chris Thornton is a very good blocking fullback. Rico, of course. Kyle DeLorme, 18 catches from the tight end spot. Gavin Rogers with 23 receptions. And Ryan Morales round out the offensive weapons for Ryan Allen. He'll put it in the air and miss. Gavin Rogers, whose diving catch at the 46 came up short. Defensively, for the Capital Cougars, Naismith, Scoville, Hunt, and Fratty up front. Eric Peterson, Dustin Smith, and Jeff Gregory, and a quartet of defensive backs. O'Connor and Lee on the corners, Riedel and Griffin, the dangerous one, as the safeties. And as usual, Chuck, you see guys on both sides of the ball going 2-way.
Both teams, lots of seniors, lots of guys going both ways. You'll hear a lot of the names over and over. including Ricky Rico.
But Ricky Rico is short of the first down. That's a gain of about 4 yards. And so both teams who like to run the football and pass it when they have opportunities are stopped 3 and out on their first possession.
You get a look there, too. Each team had a third and medium to long situation. Both elected to run the ball on third down. They know where their bread is buttered, and it's on the ground.
Urlacher is back to punt. And, of course, we've talked about Anthony Griffin. 2 punt returns for a touchdown this year. They'll try to kick it away from Griffin. That's not a bad punt as well. Griffin with a fair catch. He makes it at the 15-yard line. 38-yard punt from Urlacher. And the Capital Cougars do not have good field position. They're backed up to their 15-yard line.
Field position thus far certainly in the favor of West Valley. One thing I've been real impressed with, good snaps on the punts and good punts as well. I've been doing Husky games all year. I haven't seen a lot of that.
Well, there's a lot of college coaches watching here today. It's Capital and it's West Valley for a AA state championship. No score early on Fox Sports. Welcome back. West Valley and Capital scoreless. Rich Waltz along with Chuck Nelson. We head down to the sidelines for that former St. Helena Saint himself, Todd Pickett.
Well, no one in the Northwest knows what the heck that means, though, Rich. But both these teams feel that defense is the key to success and what made it to the championship game. Capital giving up an average of a little over 8 points per game this season, and they really build from the defense. So does West Valley. So much so that the two-way starters, Rico and DeLorme, when they get a breather, it's on offense. That's how important defense is to Joe Orthoff.
Good point. And obviously the axiom goes you win championships with defense, and I think both coaches stress that in a lot of the pregame rhetoric, that yeah, they're proud of the Kentfields and the Ricos and the Griffins, but it's the defense that has them here.
When you put up numbers like both of these teams have done, we showed you the playoff numbers. West Valley not giving up any more than 14 points in any of their playoff games. Capital doing very well as well. They're putting some numbers up. One of the reasons they do that is Charlie Kent. We talked about their dominance in the first half last week. Last week, Capital outgained Stanwood 236 to 14 yards in the first half, 12 first downs to 2. Capital looking for their first down here.
And you saw Kentfield, he had 202 of those yards. This is Anthony Griffin, and he finds no yardage at all over the right side. On the bottom of the pile, Kyle DeLorme. Todd talked about the importance of DeLorme and Rico on the outsides. DeLorme, of course, a tight end on offense. Rico, their tailback. And DeLorme came up and made this play.
Yeah, second and short situation, and you see how DeLorme fights off the block, continues through, brings down Anthony Griffin. Second and 1 situation for Capital. You'd think they've got 2 shots at it. First one didn't work. Now they've got third and short.
And it's Kentfield. He may be short. Tough going over the right side. A lot of West Valley guys in there. Ricky Rico and DeLorme at the bottom of the pile.
Joe Orthoff said the strength of his defense was basically on the up front outside with Rico and Burnett on the left, DeLorme and Wilder, or with DeLorme and Eashan on that other side. You saw those last 2 plays, the strength of the defense came through for West Valley.
Close enough probably for a measurement here on third down and short. And with the football sitting at the 24-yard line, Capital's own 24. If they are short, I would suspect they'll be punting the football.
Field position, obviously a big part of early football games. You don't want to go for it and miss it this deep in your own end.
Short by that much. And it looks like, indeed, Capital will punt the football.
Each of these teams used to a great deal of success. Patience is certainly a big part of early in a football game. Feel each other out a little bit, see what can happen. Capital perhaps a little bit more geared towards the big play than West Valley.
Dave Isaacson is back to punt. Jamie Sloan back for West Valley. Although never an exciting part of the game, both punts for both teams were pretty impressive right out of the chute.
Snap, another big one.
Not a bad kick. Sloan. Looked like he tried to down it, and thank goodness he didn't, because he ends up with about an 18-yard return into Capitol territory at the 45-yard line. Fox Sports News comes to you live tonight at 11 o'clock. All the scores from the NBA, the NHL, college basketball, all that, much more. It's tonight on Fox Sports News.
Field beginning to tilt a little bit in the favor of West Valley because of the big return from Jamie, and you saw the knee came close.
It looked like he was ready to down it. There was no one between him and about 20 yards of AstroTurf, but
either that or a nice genuflect, and it paid off.
Allen on play action has time, looking for Rogers, and it's broken up. Cody Lee on the coverage. Joe Ordoff going upstairs. And why not? Allen is the type of quarterback at 6'3" that's very comfortable in the pocket.
Well, you can see they ran the ball a little bit. They're trying to mix it up a little bit. And Gavin Rogers is a big play receiver. 23 catches on the air for 430 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. 5 in English, that's 5 touchdown receptions.
7 minutes left in this first quarter. No score. And Allen's right back to work. Nice diving catch by Ryan Morales, the junior wide receiver.
Getting his first start tonight is Ryan Morales. Nice little form for her to do it, and you can see why. Lays out, both hands on the ball. First completion of the ball game for Ryan Allen.
West Valley not really running with a traditional huddle, sort of a
grouping.
Yeah. Allen again with time to the sidelines. That's picked off. Caught from behind is Ryan Riedel. Ryan Riedel with the interception, and he almost went all the way. Not a good throw by Ryan Allen.
Good break on the ball from Riedel. You see the throw from the left side, the out route all the way across. That's a long way to throw the ball, even when it does spiral. And Riedel with a nice play on the ball and a nice diving tackle to save the touchdown by intended receiver Gavin Rogers. And field position that Capitol had given up, they got it back with the big play.
Tinnerstedt, he'll put it up for the first time. And the lefty going deep, got a man. It's Cody Lee at the 20. 20 catches on the season, 5 for touchdowns. Tinnerstedt, who had 12 touchdown passes during the season, with a nice throw here.
You can see here with the big play too, how you can have 70 completions and over 1,200 yards. That's how you do it. You throw the ball downfield. Lee had his man beat. A good throw from Tinnerstedt.
And it's Kentfield up the middle inside the 15. Stopped by T.J. Wilder. And the Capitol Cougars are in business at the West Valley 15-yard line. Gain of about 4. Second down and 6. Wayne Sortoon and his Cougars talked an awful lot about the summer in preparation for the fall. Straight ahead, Kentfield again, and he spins down to the 5-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Capitol Cougars. Both of these schools attended the University of Idaho summer football camp, and Sortoon really felt it helped his kids, and in particular, Charles Kentfield.
Back in June, they started working on plays like this. A nice job by the up front guys. The University of Idaho football camp draws a lot of the AA powers. O'Day, Prosser, Capitol as well. They full pad camp, 2-a-days for a week. Capitol says we weren't intimidated by O'Day in the playoffs because we've seen those kids all summer long.
They also saw West Valley at that very same camp. This time Kentfield is stuffed over the right side. Chris Piper, who was burned on the completion to Cody Lee, comes up and makes a nice stop.
Field getting a little bit compressed down here. You can't beat the guy deep. There is no deep. You can see right here. not only does Chris Piper make a nice play, but the up front guys as well stuff the lead block and give the running back no place to go.
Second down and goal. On the pitch, Dustin Smith, touchdown. Dustin Smith, the third option of that wing T, got the pitch from Darren Tinnerstedt, and Capital is on the board.
We talked about the stable of running backs for Capital. We talked about Lee, we talked about Griffin, we talked about Kenfield. The big play comes from Dustin Smith, his first touchdown of the year, and a big one it is. High school football, you run that option over and over and over, especially in short yardage situations. And Big Dustin's on the board.
The point is good. Brian Reed adds it. And so Capital jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Justin Smith picks a great time for his first touchdown of this season. The AA championship game has a leader. It's the Capital Cougars of Olympia. We talk so much, and certainly West Valley thinks about stopping Charles Kenfield, but he's not the guy that hurt him.
He's the guy that hurt him because he got the fake and they sucked him inside. A great job by Darren Tinnerstedt to make the read on the force man. Dustin Smith with clear sailing to the end zone. One thing to note, you've got a left-handed quarterback. Maybe you run the option to the left, let him pitch it with his strong hand, and Dustin Smith put the capper on the 53-yard scoring drive.
Of course, the big play, two big plays that set it up. The Ryan Riedel interception as he stepped out in front of the Ryan Allen pass, and then Cody Lee getting loose for that pass from Tinnerstedt.
Capital, as they did last week against Stanwood, off to a pretty good start.
This is Jamie Sloan, 28-yard line. And let's see what West Valley does now. Certainly Ricky Rico is the guy that has been able to get it done on the ground. But Ryan Allen, through the air, has been able to average over 100 yards per game and put up some big numbers, 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And if you're head coach Joe Ordoff, maybe you go back to Allen to get some confidence after the interception by Riedel.
Well, we've seen Allen put the ball up a number of times already. Maybe get him a completion, then go back to your horse. Certainly plenty of time remaining and not a panic situation. Ryan Allen, pretty good bloodlines. Good athletes in the family, including his brother, Jamie Allen, who spent some time with the Mariners.
His father was a great college basketball player as well. You saw both coaches pacing the sidelines. So is our Todd Pickett.
Rich, besides the confidence for Ryan Allen, the other thing to keep an eye on is his right ankle. He sprained it severely in the first round of the playoffs in a victory over Pullman, and the Rams were able to advance with him on the sidelines. He's not 100%, but his mobility will be a key to West Valley's offensive success.
Thank you, Todd. Straight ahead, Chris Thornton, the senior fullback, on 2nd down and 6. Gains maybe 2.
Thornton, usually the lead blocker for Ricky Rico, only 43 carries on the day, or on the season coming into today's ball game. 1 touchdown. It's a very big backfield. Thornton at 2 1/4, Ricky Rico at 215. Most AA high school teams in the state would be happy to have tackles that size.
Rico right. And he was tripped up, but I think he got enough for the first down. That's a nice effort by the senior.
Good job by the offensive line, sealing off the inside. Going to open up that point of attack. You see right here that there's nobody from the inside in pursuit coming out that way. And there's the lead block from Chris Thornton to help Ricky Rico pick up first down yardage for the Rams.
West Valley with wins over Pullman, Prosser, and Rainier Beach. Or maybe their biggest opponent to getting here tonight. from West Valley, or rather from Yakima, the weather. The passes have been a nightmare this week. Very serious weather in this area this afternoon. But both teams arrived here safely. In fact, this West Valley team arrived here yesterday. Capital just had to come up the drive from Olympia. Second down and 7. Allen, fumble. I think Rico got it back. And in the process, he's back to the original line of scrimmage.
Recovered by the Rams.
Trying to run the basic counter gap type play. You see the both offensive linemen from the right pulling off to the left. Their efforts go for naught, as certainly a handoff that's been made over 140 times in game action this season goes awry.
Allen going to put it up again. Little swing pass, actually a lateral to Rico, who makes a circus catch and promptly loses 5 yards. Check it, not Rico. Derek Geishan made the stop. So Geishan, who came out of the backfield, makes the catch but loses yardage.
See the third and long set up by the fumble. Brian Allen looked downfield, made a good adjustment. The throw was indeed a lateral. Geishan did a good job of making the catch, couldn't regain his feet. And the fumble puts a kibosh on the drive of West Valley.
Urlacher, who is a multi-purpose kicker, a punter, place kicker, kicks off. Short kick, and it's Cody Lee to the 31-yard line. Matt Archer made the stop for West Valley. Last time Capital touched the football, they went 53 yards on 5 plays. Destin Smith took it in. And the Cougars have the football at their own 31-yard line right now. You know, it's hard, Chuck, as a defensive or an offensive coach in high school, to get your players together at the sideline, because many of your defensive players are also on offense. So you really don't have a whole lot of time to get them together and draw things up.
There's not a whole lot of adjustments made with the players on the sideline. You got to kind of make them on the fly.
Charles Kentfield, or Charlie Kentfield, if you will, stopped near the line of scrimmage. Adam Smith made the stop.
Bread and butter for Capital. Charlie Kentfield up the middle on the dive play. You can see the inside guy, Smith, off of his knees. Puts the stop on the Cougar.
Well, you're not a big guy, and Smith at 6 foot 185 pounds, you have to be very creative if you're on the line.
It's all about leverage.
It is, and Smith was leveraged.
The inside guy, Smith, 185. He's the big guy inside. Chad Lannis only 170.
Anthony Griffin on a reverse look, defended nicely by West Valley. And Capital will be looking at 3rd down and 5, staying home and making the stop. Cornerback Chris Piper. 1 quarter in the books of this AA championship. Capital on top of West Valley, 7-0. Welcome back to the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Gridiron Classic, the Class AA Football Championship. Capital on top of West Valley by a score of 7-0. And Capital with the football, faced with 3rd down and a long 3, call it 4. Kentfield straight ahead, fires forward to the 42-yard line. T.J. Wilder made the stop, very close to the 1st down.
Yeah, and you've got a running offense, a 3rd and 4 situation, and you run the dive. That's because you've got confidence in the dive. Wayne Sartoon knows what Charlie Kentfield can do.
Well, he knows that Kentfield picks up 6 yards a clip, and simple math would dictate that 3rd down and 3 might not be a problem.
Well, you just got to tell him that there's a goal line there. Again, 21 touchdowns on the season for Charlie Kentfield. He's kind of the Tommy Vardell of the Capital Cougars.
I like that. Touchdown, Charlie Kentfield. Tinnerstedt over the middle. Man open, but he overshoots his tight end, Joe Fratty. Tyler Hinckley on the coverage. I'll tell you what, Capital has been able to get people open downfield.
Well, this is what you do when you're able to run the ball effectively, is you can run play-action type passing. And you see, once again, you get people open downfield. This time the tight end, Fratty, downfield. Hinckley got a little bit tangled up. Sometimes in high school football, the most difficult thing to do is just to execute. Even if people are open, it's still a throw and catch situation. One of the exciting things about high school football is that mistakes are made. That creates big plays. You can never be far enough ahead or too far behind in a high school football game.
Tinnerstedt has been able to spread those touchdowns and those receptions around. Anthony Griffin trying to get around right end. He gets out to the 48-yard line. Short of the first down. It'll be another 3rd down and 3 for Capital.
One of the things you see that Griffin is able to do is he really does a great job of staying alive. He gets outside, kind of gets out in the wash and trying to field his way. He doesn't get out of bounds very often. He gets upfield quite often. 8.3 yards per carry. Transferred in to Capital. Charlie Kentfield thought he would be the man on his own in the 1996 season. He's sharing that title a little bit with Anthony Griffin. Over 2,000 yards between them.
Came from River Ridge High School in Lacey. Option look, Tinnerstedt's got the first down and more, and he's ridden out of bounds by Jess Saxton. Darren Tinnerstedt, 6 foot, 180 pounds, and he is a senior.
We talked about all the seniors on this Capital team. They start 9 seniors on offense, and here, get in Tyler Hinckley's head, number 11. Where am I going? Who do I cover? Cody Lee, the pitch man, or Darren Tinnerstedt, the quarterback with the ball? Good job by Tinnerstedt of reading Tyler Hinckley, getting upfield, getting the first down.
And if you run the wing T, you have to have a quarterback that can read defenses. It's a difficult offense to defend. Capital noticed that. Wayne Sortune said, you know, he saw Tumwater running it with so much success that he figured, you know what, why fight it? Let's join it. And that's one of the reasons that Capital started running it. Is Tumwater and Sid Otten, who no stranger to state championships, had so much success with that offense.
A couple of AA championships at Tumwater. Tumwater now moved up to AAA. Get a look at the rushing yardages so far. One of the things the wing T does, it creates a lot of great angles for your offensive linemen. You have lots of misdirection. It's all about blocking down, trapping because you've got great angles. When you've got some good athletes in the backfield, it makes it a little bit easier for the offensive linemen.
Yeah, and if you don't have an immense offensive line, you can still run the football. Tinnerstedt running for his life, throwing, and flags go down from every direction. Tinnerstedt was hit, and the intended receiver, Ryan Casey, was flattened as well.
One flag downfield, one flag back along the line of scrimmage. You can see the left-handed Tinnerstedt has to turn his shoulders and make the throw. Jess Saxton a little bit early with the hit on Ryan Casey. And Casey comes up pleading, wins his case.
Looks like an interference and a hold and offsetting penalties. He'll do it again.
You think they'll do the exact same thing again?
I think that's in the rules, isn't it?
They have to run the same
interference on the defense. Repeat, 2nd down.
Don Fossum is our referee today. Actually, an ineligible man downfield as well as the pass interference.
It's a big day for officials as well. They have a qualifying for this. These are the officials that graded the best on the season. It's an honor for them to be here as well.
Tinnerstedt going to go up. With time, Chris Piper with the interception at the 22-yard line. That one was doomed from the start.
Doomed from the start, largely because of the pressure from T.J. Wilder. The play fake works for a little while, but not long enough on Wilder. You see Tinnerstedt forced to throw that ball basically straight up in the air. The jump ball, it's basketball season next in line for a lot of these multi-sport athletes, Chris Piper among them. He leads this game in rebounds so far. One turnover apiece as West Valley evens the interception score.
And it was Capital that turned their first interception into a touchdown on a 53-yard drive. Let's see what West Valley does with their first turnover. Back at their own 22-yard line. Play action for Ryan Allen. He's in trouble. Bad ankle and all. Out to the 26-yard line. Gain of about 4. You can see the different philosophies as far as throwing the football. Joe Ordoff and his quarterback Ryan Allen, much more a pocket passer at 6'3". Most of the patterns designed for him to stay in the pocket, while you see Tinnerstadt rolling out to both sides of the field.
Yeah, much more ball control, shorter throws too for Ryan Allen. We've seen Tinnerstadt throw the ball downfield more. Derek Geishin,
Little tailback who gives Ricky Rico a rest every now and then. Short of the first down. Gain of 4.
Talked about Ryan Allen and his bad ankle. It's a bad enough ankle that he started the crosser game with a bad ankle. Could only go 4 plays against the Central Washington arch rival of West Valley. Was unable to play more than the 4 plays. West Valley victorious nonetheless.
3rd down and short. Ricky Rico has the first down. And so the Rams move the football out to the 34-yard line, their own 34.
And 3rd and short, not only do you give it to your big running back, but you also run right up the middle behind Ian Zero, the 6'3", 250-pound center. But Joe Ordoff says should be, could be an all-state type of offensive lineman.
And a type of guy that may play next year on Saturdays. Or actually in 2 years on Saturdays. He's got some dates for Fridays next year. He's a junior this year. But at 6'3", 250, that's an immense size for a center at this level. Rico out to the 43. Short of the first down. It's a gain of 9.
Again, right up the middle. We talked about Ian Zero and his size. Take a look at his quick feet as well and how he's able to turn his man right there and seal off the inside. That's how Ricky Rico can pick up yards. Ground 0.
I like it. Allen's in trouble. Down he goes. Kyle Naismith at the 35-yard line. It's a huge loss of about 10.
Kyle Naismith says, play fake? What play fake? All I know is the quarterback still has the football, and I've got the quarterback. 2 points. His wrestling season right around the corner as well. And a happy Cougar.
Naismith doing his best Heisman imitation.
You would think of a name like Naismith, he's ready for basketball season to start. He put a wrestling move on with a basketball name in a football game. Talk about a multi-sport athlete.
Ryan Allen on 3rd down and long. Swing pass to no one. Incomplete. He was looking for Chris Thornton, his fullback. Flag goes down. Back at the line of scrimmage.
If you're getting pressure, you get sacked. What are you going to do? You're going to try to run the screen.
There's Thornton. One of the dangers of the screen is if you throw the ball past the line of scrimmage that maybe one of your linemen was downfield. And that's exactly what happened with West Valley. And I think Joe Ordoff was saying, look, the football landed behind the line of scrimmage. In that case,
gets the offense, refused, be 4th down.
If that's the case, your lineman can be downfield and blocking at that time. Joe's not real happy right now.
It's pretty calm, though. That's pretty impressive.
Football just across the 35-yard line, and West Valley will be forced to punt. Luke Urlacher has had a busy night already. keeping it away from the dangerous Anthony Griffin, and it's out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 27-yard line. A very generous spot.
It got about 10 yards.
And that thing went out of bounds at the 35, and they've marked it at the 27.
Spotted it where it landed, but it landed about 7 yards out of bounds.
We'll sort it out when we get back. The AA State Championship game from the Tacoma Dome. Capital on top on Fox Sports Northwest. Capital on top of West Valley. Rich Waltz, Chuck Nelson, and down on the sidelines awaiting halftime, Todd Pickett.
That's right, Rich. And coming up at halftime, we'll talk with the executive director of the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, Mike Colbreeze. Of course, a new division headed to the state high school playoffs next season. We'll also visit with the Washington State Dairy Ambassador, Lisa Waters from Vancouver, and we'll take a look at stats, highlights, and much more. All coming your way, but we still got plenty of second quarter action. Let's return upstairs.
Chuck, I thought you were the Dairy Ambassador. I'm stunned.
Well, I
relinquished your title?
I'm waiting for the call for the big billboard with the milk mustache. But I do indeed, at my home, I got milk.
Capital with the football and the lead. Anthony Griffin around the side, and he's collared by Ricky Rico.
We saw the speed there, not only of Anthony Griffin, but of Ricky Rico. The quick pitch designed to get your speedster around the corner as quickly as possible. But Ricky Rico gets to that corner at the same time Anthony Griffin does. You also see a good job by Tyler Hinckley to keep Griffin from turning the bend.
Second down and 10. Tinnerstadt to the air. Cody Lee. And he's out to the 37-yard line. Tinnerstadt is down in the backfield. Kyle DeLorme with a very hard rush, and Tinnerstadt the second time has found Lee, but he also found the turf.
He's looking for his teeth. Right now, the left-handed quarterback turns and throws it right into the face of Kyle DeLorme. You can see right now Capital's going to have to call a timeout
just to let their quarterback regain his senses.
Wayne Sartoon wants to let Darren Tinnerstadt sort through. You can see he's checking out, see if his tongue still works.
We'll find out if it does. 7-0 Capital on top of West Valley. The end of the road for AA football, the championship game tonight from Tacoma. Here's the reason why Darren Tinnerstadt on this completion got out seeing stars.
Saw right there Kyle DeLorme, the 6'3", 225-pound senior, introduces himself rather forcibly into the chin of Darren Tinnerstadt. Had to go over to the referee and say, timeout, please.
Tinnerstadt okay. And the senior, who has been pretty successful at spreading it around, gives it to Kentfield on third down and short, and he's got the first down. Capital has had more success throwing the football than West Valley.
Charlie Kentfield, ball carrier.
Tinnerstadt has been able to get the ball to Cody Lee on occasion. Kentfield, although his number's not as impressive as last week's 202-yard effort against Stanwood, Wayne Sortoon has got to be happy with the way that Capital has been able to control the football, move the chains, and run the clock.
And you can balance up your offense, run it successfully. It makes it easier to throw. Complete a couple, makes it easier to run.
Tinnerstadt with lots of time. And he comes up short looking for Tim Isaacson. Incomplete. Second down and 10. Back down to the sidelines for Todd Pickett.
Hey guys, not only did Tinnerstadt take the shot in the chin, but during the timeout he had his helmet off, was wiping the chin to see if he were cut at all. And as he demonstrated to his teammates how he got popped, he threw his head back and promptly banged the back of his head into teammate Charles Kentfield's helmet. So now he's got a shot in the back of the head to match the chin.
A quarterback that does not shy away from contact. Second and 10. and quite possibly a throwing down in this wing T offense. Tinnerstadt going deep. Isaacson got it and then drops it at the 18. He had Jeff Saxton beat, and Tinnerstadt hit him right on the numbers. Isaacson, 27 catches and 6 touchdowns on the season, and you can see Tinnerstadt, cut chin and all, he put it on the money.
See, he gets put on the deck as well and puts it on the money. Tim Isaacson, what's the name of that Robin Williams movie about the high school football game that he, years later, he had to go back and replay? It haunted him for life.
That was a bad movie.
Tim Isaacson will
You
remember that one
that?
for a while.
What hotel room did you see that in?
Spectrovision.
Well, Goldie Hawn was in it, and that was about the only...
Golden Spot.
Well, the only...
One of Robin Williams' finest.
Tinnerstadt playing the role of Kirk Russell in this one. Pitches outside to Cody Lee, and he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, Tinnerstadt has taken a couple of shots. Maybe that's one reason he doesn't carry this ball all the way out. The effectiveness of the option relies on putting pressure on the force man to make that decision. That time Derek Geishan had no decision to make. Tinnerstadt got rid of that one pretty quickly.
Number 36, Dave Isaacson.
Tinnerstadt is the up man in this punt formation, so a fake is not out of the question. But Capital will punt it away. Dave Isaacson, Jamie Sloan to the 34-yard line. All right, Chuck Nelson, put the coaching whistle on here. If you're Joe Ortoff and the West Valley Rams, you're down 7-0 with 3:40 left in this first half. How do you get your offense going?
Well, I'm still going to try to do what I can do, and that's ball control offense with Ricky Rico. Capital has done a good job stopping the run, and Ryan Allen been unable to throw the ball very effectively. So I still think West Valley's got to get Ricky Rico established a little bit. Put those big guys up front. Let Ian Zero do what he can do inside. He says as they get ready to throw.
Ryan Allen, remember, he's got the bad wheel, makes a nice cut, and then pays the price as Jeff Gregory introduces himself. At 5'10", 200 pounds, Gregory's not a big guy. Flag down, but he put all those 200 pounds into this hit.
You can see that Allen makes the decision pretty quickly. And payback for the shots on Tinnerstadt right there is the old high-low.
This flag
took the punishment for nothing.
This flag is going against West Valley. There's Gregory.
12-minute quarters in high school football can make the game just absolutely fly by. So West Valley would like to show some success before the half, feel a little better about the half, and getting major penalties.
Still first down.
Getting major penalties, not the way to build momentum.
Joe Ordoff in his 12th year as the head coach for the West Valley Rams. Allen to the air. To the sidelines, Ryan Morales. Check it, not Morales. Ben McMurray. At 6'5", an enormous wide receiver. McMurray makes the catch. But still a long ways to go. Second down at about 15.
We said that Ryan Morales was getting his first start replacing McMurray. McMurray's had a pretty successful season, 16 catches, now 17 on the year.
Second down, long ways to go.
Double pass.
Throwing it up is Tyler Hinckley. Incomplete. DeLorme at the 30, the intended receiver. Tyler Hinckley is a reserve quarterback, and so if Capital had scouted this West Valley team at all, they knew that if Hinckley was going to touch the ball, he might not have it for long.
The lateral side pass out, and DeLorme comes all the way from the left side downfield. A good throw from Hinckley. You see the good recovery right there from the deep men, Griffin and O'Connor for Capital. Big play one for Capital. That could have been the one for West Valley right there.
Allen's throw, looking for either McMurray or DeLorme. I'm not sure which. He kind of threw it between them. Broken up by Jeff Gregory, who had a nice sequence.
And if Joe Ordoff had visions of establishing that running game, that big penalty kind of threw those plans out the window, and you have to go to the passing game. Try to hit the gap in the zone that time. That time the receivers not settling in the gap, and a frustrated Ryan Allen. 233 yards in their season opener victory over East Valley. Would like to start getting some passing totals here in the championship game.
Urlacher to punt. Capital came close to getting that one. Griffin with an ill-advised fair catch at the 26-yard line. He had about 8 yards in front of him. That's a 44-yard kick for Luke Urlacher. Special teams have been about the, I guess, the bright spot for West Valley. On his way back out, Darren Tinnerstedt. Capital has been very close to breaking a big play. You saw in that last sequence, Tim Isaacson dropping what might have been a touchdown pass. Wayne Sortune saw Tinnerstedt hook up with Cody Lee on a long pass down to the 20-yard line, which set up the only score of the football game.
2:19 to go in the half. Wayne Sortune's thinking first order of business is get some first downs. The one thing we don't want to do is give West Valley the ball at the end of the half.
Flag down, as is Griffin. Tyler Hinckley made the stop.
You see the success inside, and now trying to get some success outside now for Capital. The holding penalty on the Cougars. Tyler Hinckley came up and closed on that play to stop the game. Now the decision for defensive captain Ricky Rico as to whether to accept the penalty or create the 2nd and 10. Only a couple of minutes to go. They take the penalty. But they might decline it. Give themselves a chance to get the ball back sooner. This gives Capital one more play to run clock, if nothing else. And there you see right there, inside the hold on Derek Geishan. I couldn't see the number of the holder. There it is. Tim Isaacson with the glove.
So 2nd and 10 becomes 1st and 17. Joe Fratty, the tight end, will get all the yardage back in one catch. First down, Capital. Fratty, his first catch of the football game. And a nice throw by Tinnerstedt.
A nice throw by Tinnerstedt, and also the nice setup from Tinnerstedt. Look to the left, then come back late to Fratty, the tight end, who was lined up right. Block, delay, take off, find the seam, find the first down.
When you play that one deep safety, and that's what West Valley does, if you can ball fake as a quarterback, you can help yourself out. This wobbler, Fratty goes up and gets it for the catch at the 41-yard line. Derek Geishan on the coverage, and Fratty, who goes 6'1", 195, just outfought him for the football. And all of a sudden, Capital, with a minute and a half left, is in business.
And the two big plays from Tinnerstedt to Officer Joe Fratty makes the arresting catch right there. The wrestle from Derek Geishan. High school football, a lot about want to. Both players want to that time. Fratty with the leverage a little bit in that field position. A good comeback from the holding penalty. Two big plays.
From the West Valley 41-yard line. First man through. It's Kenfield, close to the first down. Clock will continue to roll. And remember, Capital, when Tinnerstedt took that big pop, had to burn a timeout. They've got 2 left in the final moments of this first half. Tinnerstedt, Fratty again, and the big kids got it down to the 16-yard line. And a great read by Tinnerstedt with a one deep safety, Chuck. If you can look up and see which way he's going, and you've got options on either side of the field. you can do what Tinnerstedt has done on this drive.
Well, not only does he look at the safety, he looks the safety off. Much like a couple of big plays ago, Tinnerstedt takes the snap, looks downfield to the left. That draws the safety, Saxton, Altshuler in this case, to the left, come back to Frady.
Clock running, Tinnerstedt to the air, got his man, Isaacson, incomplete. Boy, he was close to making the catch at the 3-yard line.
A good catch from Isaacson, just not quite enough field. Tinnerstedt elected to go outside. You see right there, also had a man open inside. Get a look at the catch from Isaacson.
Ooh, that's
if he caught it cleanly, it looks like a catch on the replay.
Looks like a catch.
Perhaps a bobble in there. One thing it does do is stop the clock with the incompletion. The 35 seconds gives Tinnerstedt a chance to run over. Look, he's almost at the century mark. 50%.
3 of those completions on this drive have been to his tight end, Joe Frady. Kentfield straight ahead. Fumble. It's loose. And I think West Valley has got it. And the Rams have dodged a major league bullet.
And imagine that. It's Ricky Rico at the bottom of the pile.
Look at the sigh of relief on Joe Ordoff's face.
In their playoff victory over Prosser. Prosser with the lead, driving late in the game, and the interception saves the day for West Valley. This time it's Kyle DeLorme with the tomahawk to create the loose ball, and then Ricky Rico with the effort to recover it. Joe Ordoff said that his 2 best players on defense were DeLorme and Rico. A big play from the 2 of them right there.
And West Valley probably will just keep it on the ground. Allen straight ahead. That should be the final play of the first half. However, the Capital Cougars are going to call a timeout. Wayne Sortune is going to force West Valley to handle the football at least one more time.
Force a couple of snaps at least. Anything can happen. Seen a fumbled handoff already from Allen to Rico early in the first quarter. Wayne Sortune hoping for another one. You can see the longtime Cougar coach has put up some pretty good numbers. You're playing down there with Tumwater for a lot of those 11 years. And that outstanding program Sid Otten created there. There's an awful lot of good football being played down in the South Sound area.
Wayne Sortune was talking about his team. He said, you know what? We don't have any, real superstars. We don't have a lot of size with our line. We do have some skilled kids that can make some big plays. He said, but there's a lot of heart and a lot of overachievers on this football team. And I think, obviously, on both sides of the football, Joe Ordoff at West Valley has been to the playoffs 11 times in 12 seasons. You've got to have that in high school football because you don't have the dominating offensive line. You don't have an enormous defense to work with. You got to have kids with character to get it done.
Well, it's a credit to both coaching staffs too, that the successes that they've had, because you're not going to get that stud athlete all that often. You've got to have a program, and both of these schools certainly do. Their participation in summer camps attests to that.
Allen, a little bit of a draw, and he goes down. Let's see if Capital will use their final timeout. They will. If for nothing else, maybe Wayne Sortune just wants to let Ryan Allen absorb a little more punishment, and that's a real danger. Allen with his ankle is down.
You can see a heavy tape job on that right ankle too. You also see Ryan Allen keeping every bit of pressure off of that ankle.
And I'm not saying that Capital called the timeout so that maybe they'd get a few shots at Allen. You called the timeout hoping for a turnover or something to happen, and obviously something has happened. Let's take a look at it. Quarterback sneak might have been the call here, Chuck.
Well, I think this is basically a quarterback sneak that's designed to take up more time. It's kind of a delayed quarterback sneak. See that right ankle? Lots of pressure on that. You can see here how he makes the plant and gets hit right there.
When you have a sore ankle, and you and I have both been there, you don't necessarily have to turn it over to re-injure it. Just a tweak, and especially on this carpet, it's very easy to do. Just a tweak is enough to re-injure that ankle, and it's something that I'm sure he'll be back for the second half. He's just going to simply have to walk it off, and he's got all of halftime to get it loose again.
And you know he's going to spend the entire halftime, too, on his feet, continuing to walk. The one thing about those sprained ankles, boy, is once you sit down and let the thing pop up, let the blood get in there and have it swell up a little bit, it never comes back. So if indeed Ryan Allen will be back in the second half, it'll be because he's been on his feet the whole time and he keeps that blood pumping.
Both quarterbacks have been banged up a little bit. Darren Tinnerstadt took a shot in the chin. "7-0 Capital on top of West Valley. 10 seconds left. A prolonged ending to this first half.
Capital with no more timeouts left. West Valley may never have to snap it again. Between injuries and timeouts, they're going to get plenty of time to talk.
West Valley calling a timeout. And I would suspect that in this situation, Joe Ordoff just wants to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Tyler Hinckley, in all likelihood, taking over at quarterback. The AA championship in the state of Washington these last 5 years has been dominated by two schools, O'Day and Prosser. O'Day in 94 and 95, Prosser in 92 and 93, and O'Day back in 91. And significantly, both of these schools, to arrive at this championship game, had to beat one of those schools. Capital beat O'Day in the first round. West Valley beat Prosser in the quarterfinals.
Also the Friday night game, a new thing the last, I believe, 16, 17 years. First in the King Dome, then down here in the Tacoma Dome. Everything's been a one-day affair. The AA game and the B8 game moved to Friday this year. They're marqueed a little bit on Fridays. 3 games tomorrow.
Ricky Rico straight ahead. That B8 game, by the way, Crescent wiped out Odessa 46-0. Finally, the first half has expired as a big turnover late in this first half with the Capital Cougars trying to add to their 7-0 lead. They coughed it up. Let's head back down to the sidelines with Todd Pickett.
With Capital head coach Wayne Sortune, obviously turnovers a little bit of the story. You capitalized on one early. A couple others prevented you from getting it in the end zone again, perhaps.
In a tough ball game, turnovers are always real critical, and so we've got to take care of the ball. We had some opportunities. They're a real tough, hard-nosed football team, and we've got a great game on our hands.
Forced you to go to the air maybe a little bit more than you would have liked in the first half?
Oh no, not really. We probably didn't throw as much as we usually do, and we'll continue to try to move it around a little bit, hit the middle, and throw the ball, and we've got to sustain a little bit more ball control and put some more points on the board.
Well, both of you stressed defense. That's the way it's been so far.
We have a good defense, and we might give up some yards, but we don't give up a lot of points. I'm real proud of the way they're playing, and it should be a good second half.
Coach, good luck. We'll let you rejoin your young men. We'll see you after the game.
Thank you.
Wayne Sortune, the head coach of Capital. Let's go back upstairs to Rich and Chuck.
Thank you, Mr. Pickett. 7-0 Capital on top of West Valley. It's the AA championship from the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma. A 7-0 Cougar lead. We're back after this. Stick around for halftime. Welcome back to the Tacoma Dome as the WIA Dairy Farmers of Washington Gridiron Classic continues. The Capital Cougars on top of the West Valley Rams. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz along with Chuck Nelson. All right, first half. No big surprises. Both defenses, I thought, had very good first halves.
Yeah, ball control, a key to any high school football game. Both of these teams have done a great job of it throughout the season. Tonight, a lot of punting in the first quarter, but a couple of big plays, particularly on the side of Capital. They were able to capitalize on their big play and turn it into 7 points. A lot of feeling each other out on this football field this evening.
Offensively, I think Capital probably looked more comfortable than West Valley. Darren Tinnerstadt, their quarterback, the left-hander, at times with some big plays. Capital was very close to leading this football game, if not 14-0, 21-0.
Capital able to show a lot more balance. They ran the ball a little bit more effectively. That set up the passing game a little bit more effectively. Joe Frady, Darren Tinnerstadt to Joe Frady, became a big part of the offense in that second quarter. They were able to move the ball very well.
Yeah, and I would think the ankle of Ryan Allen is a real concern for West Valley right now.
Well, particularly if they're going to be trailing in the ball game and going to want to throw the ball a little bit. Capital's done a great job of stopping Ricky Rico, putting some pressure on West Valley's passing game. If they have to go to that passing game with a backup quarterback, advantage Capital.
Yeah, that's funny because you talk about Ricky Rico for West Valley, and then for Capital we talked about Charles Kinfield. They really weren't big factors in this first half.
I think both defenses probably were watching our open and knew what the other teams were going to have to do to try to be successful. These are two running teams. Both coaches says, well, yeah, we like to throw the ball a little bit too, but every football coach I've ever met says, I want to run the ball every play virtually if I can, and both of these teams knew the other team was going to try to do that. Defenses were geared to stop that. They did it pretty successfully. I just think Capital was able to make the adjustment and throw the ball a little bit better.
All right, well, some more adjustments to be made here at halftime as Capital and West Valley. This AA championship game continues from the Tacoma Dome. We'll have more. Halftime has arrived with Capital on top. Welcome back upstairs. Rich Waltz along with our dairy ambassador, Chuck Nelson. All right, let's get into these first half highlights. As pretty good football game. Both defenses made some big plays, and it was the Capital defense that started with a big play here.
Yeah, Ryan Allen, with his offense having pretty good field position most of the first quarter, gives up that field position. Ryan Riedel comes up with a big play for Capital, the big play that led to Capital's scoring drive. You see a great job by Tinnerstedt of making the read on the pitch, pitching it to Mr. Touchdown. Dustin Smith, 1 carry, 5 yards, 1 touchdown for the big fella. Capital had the chance in the second quarter to add a couple of touchdowns, including this one. The play fake when you run the ball successfully lets you throw the ball downfield. Tinnerstedt down to Isaacson.
Nope.
Gloves didn't quite get it done. Second time late in the second quarter. Looks like Capital is going to go up 14-0. The two big studs on defense make the play. Delorme and Ricky Rico stop Capital right there, and 7-0, and this is how it got there.
Yeah, numbers-wise, obviously Capital's total yardage jumps right out at you, 195, and West Valley, I mean, here's a team that's averaging over 100 yards per game through the air, just 9 in that first half.
So Ryan Allen struggled a little bit. I think the interception may have shook him up a little bit. You see only 60 total yards. You see a couple of turnovers there. Turnover's a big part of this game. Capital was able to capitalize on the one that they got and turn it into 7 points. Had a couple of other opportunities, but a good job by West Valley of coming up with big plays on defense, if not on offense.
Yeah, I guess that's the good news, bad news for both teams. Capital is on top. That's good for them, but they should be up 21-0. And that's the good news for West Valley, is that they're not in a real hole right now.
Joe Ordoff has got to be thinking, we're doing okay, only having 60 yards on offense, giving up almost 200 yards on defense, and we're only down by 7 points. The big question for him on offense is he going to have his quarterback that's thrown for over 100 yards a game? Ryan Allen twists an ankle late in the half. It's questionable whether he'll be back.
Spoken like a true high school star, the former Everett Siegel, old number 95 here, Chuck Nelson. All right, we're coming back. It's still halftime. The red and gold having a much better time than the blue and red. Capital on top.
In the hospital, get a chance to see some big-name high school guys. Maybe they're watching them on TV tonight.
Yeah, you can see that West Valley on their way back out. This is a West Valley team that has not tasted defeat this year. They are 11-0 coming in. It's one thing that Capital has done. They've experienced a loss, a 14-7 overtime loss to Aberdeen. But Capital in this one on top 7-0, and you saw those two big plays, the drop by Isaacson and the fumble near the final moments of the first half. This could very easily be a 14-0 or a 21-0 lead for Capital. That's the good news for Joe Ordoff, and he's down below with Todd Pickett.
Thanks very much, Rich. With Joe Ordoff, and really a little bit of bad news coming out of the locker room. Going to have to get things done with your backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. Tyler Hinkey's going to have to step up and play. He did earlier in the year against Prosser. We'll just see how things go. Ryan's ankle didn't hold up. He won't be able to play the second half.
A little bit frustrating in the first half, having things bottled up. What did you talk about with the kids, and how will you prepare for this second half?
Well, I tell you what, we feel in pretty good position just being 7 down, as many mistakes as that we made. We just got to hang in there and see what happens. Tyler's going to lead this team, and we'll see if we get something going offensively.
This is similar to what you've had throughout the playoffs. You've had to overcome some adversity, tight games, and as you said before the game, you've always found a way to win.
Yeah, down that last drive, we thought they were going to go in and get a field goal or even score, and we ended up coming up with a big fumble recovery.
Got 2 more quarters to go, Joe. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Joe Ordoff, head coach of the West Valley Rams, ready for the third quarter. Let's go back to Rich and Chuck.
Thanks, Todd. So, you look at Hinckley, and here's a guy that at 38%, 56 yards, 2 interceptions. He's not a guy that has had a lot of experience, but what experience he has had has come under a lot of pressure.
Not only did he play in the playoffs, he played against perennial power Prosser, a rival in the area over there. Was able to lead his team to that big last-minute victory. It's a big moment for him. That 14-10 win that Tyler Hinckley was able to do over Prosser. He was going to have to try to improve on the offensive performance of this West Valley team in the first half. You see not a lot of success, only 2 drives with first downs.
But you know, the amazing thing about the injury to me to Ryan Allen is the fact that for Joe Ordoff and his West Valley Rams, they were simply trying to run the clock out of the first half, and the timeouts by Capital forced the hand, and Allen, rather than just a quick quarterback sneak, quarterback draw, got the ankle tangled up, and it looks like he's done.
They're trying to run as much clock as possible, kind of a delayed quarterback sneak. Joe Ordoff wondering, gosh, if we'd have just taken a knee, we'd still have our quarterback. Wayne Sartoon on the other side likes having that 7-0 lead, but knowing it could have been more, knows the second half
and you look
will
at that,
be a battle.
The touchdown drive certainly was set up by the Tinnerstadt to Cody Lee reception. The drop by Isaacson. Then there's their last drive. 7 plays, 68 yards. Charles Kentfield fumbling inside the 15-yard line.
Wayne Sartoon will like that trend, though. You saw that they started off a little bit slow, and then the numbers got bigger as the half went on. Big part of that was opening up the Capital offense a little bit. And Darren Tinnerstadt to Joe Frady pass duo in particular successful in that 68-yard non-scoring drive. You see almost 100 yards for Tinnerstadt in the first half, averaging right about 100 yards per game coming in.
And those numbers would be much better if A, Isaacson makes that catch, and B, the catch that Isaacson made, which was a gorgeous one, going down, sliding out of bounds, was ruled inbounds. And on our replay, it looked like he was inbounds. And so 5 of 10, Tinnerstadt will take it. A unique kickoff alignment. West Valley will receive and get the football first here in the second half. Straight ahead, it's Jamie Sloan in a crowd, and he's out to the 28-yard line. All right, Chuck, what happens to your offense now that Ryan Allen is out, and you've got to go with Hinckley?
Well, you knew Ricky Rico was going to be the workhorse coming into the game. That's probably even more so. You may see Joe Ordoff have Mr. Hinckley throw the ball a couple of times early just to show Capital that we're not going to abandon the passing game just because our quarterback is out. Hinckley with the glove on the left hand.
8 carries, 35 yards for Rico. And he'll get it on the first play of the second half. Good play by Ryan O'Connor, the cornerback, coming up, making the stop. And obviously, if you're a Capital Cougar in this situation, you're going to make Rico beat you right now. You're going to make Hinckley show that he can hurt you through the air before you call off the dogs and try to stop the run.
One thing that Capital is going to have to be careful of, though, is not biting on too much play action. You see a little Rico, throw the ball downfield. One thing you don't want to put Tyler Hinckley in the situation is don't put him in a long yardage situation where you know he's got to throw. Much like the 3rd and 10 they're going to be faced with right now.
Yeah, Rico stuffed straight ahead. James Scovell made the stop.
James Scovell on the tackle. 3rd and 9.
And on 2 plays, West Valley has just 1 yard. So Tyler Hinckley, welcome to the football game. Here's a 3rd down and 9 for you. The Rams just 2 of 7 on 3rd downs.
Now, this isn't where you want your backup quarterback.
Ricky Rico writes up and over and lands at the 36, but he's short of the first down. Jeff Gregory made the stop for Capital.
3rd and long. Rico's going to get it anyway. You can see a little bit of softness from Capital and a little bit of leaping ability right over Cody Lee's head and into the waiting arms of Mr. Gregory.
Cody Lee and number 3.
West Valley, much like they started the game, get a good punt here from Urlacher, as he's been doing all night, can hold field position. Maybe a type of offense in the second half for West Valley where the defense is going to have to make some plays.
Anthony Griffin and Cody Lee are back. They kick away from that pair. Lee's going to have to run this down on a gorgeous punt, which ends up at about the 17-yard line. 44-yard punt by Urlacher. Both these kicking teams had a very good first half.
Urlacher 38.5-yard average in the first half, and that's 40 there. Capital averaging 40 yards on their punts. Darren Tinnerstadt would just as soon not have to punt in the second half.
Charles Kenfield, the guy that we talked about, 58 yards on 12 carries. So he was a factor in the first half. Kenfield straight ahead. He'll get maybe 3 yards. But the big plays for this Capital team came with Darren Tinnerstadt, his wingback Cody Lee, and his tight end Joe Fratty.
A long gain rushing in that first half for Capital, only 10 yards, and Anthony Griffin only able to get a 6-yard carry. Not a lot of long runs for Capital, something they're used to doing, but the passing game came up with 33 and 20-yard gains.
Capital with the lead and the football. And over the right side, this is Dave Isaacson. David Isaacson.
Yeah, David Isaacson replaced Griffith in the playoff game with Linden when Griffin missed the game with the fever and rushed for over 100 yards. So you can open another stall door in that stable of Capital athletes, Capital running backs, and out comes David Isaacson, and as a reward for his first down carry, he gets to stay in the ballgame.
Kentfield straight ahead, big hole, big play. He's out to midfield. Charles Kentfield.
Charlie Kentfield again.
They talk about him as a bruising, punishing runner, and he is, but he's not that big. He's 5'11", 180.
It's a straight ahead style, certainly stays very low. Tough kind of running style to tackle, because you come up to tackle him and all you see is shoulder pads and knees. The big guys up front for Capital starting to be effective. First half, we mentioned that the inside people for West Valley are only 185 and 170 pounds. They're going against 225, 180, 260, and 210 and 215. The up front guys for Capital. That weight advantage perhaps starting to become more of an advantage.
Kentfield straight ahead. Stopped
To the 47.
by Ricky Rico. Let's head down to the sideline with Todd Pickett.
A couple quick points for you. First off, the Capital motto really coming in out of the half was let's pound the ball inside. Assert it, punch it up the middle. That's what they're trying to do right now. Also, Ryan Allen, West Valley quarterback, is going to go have x-rays done just to check that ankle.
Thanks, Todd. Certainly not good news for West Valley. So it sounds as if Allen won't be back at all. Isaacson, Dave that is, inside the 45, and it'll be third down and about 5 now for Capital. T.J. Wilder made the stop for West Valley.
3rd and 5 at the 45.
David Isaacson doesn't play a whole lot. Carried the ball 29 times coming into the game, but averaged over 10 yards a carry. And Joe Erdoff's defense looking to make the big play now on 3rd and 4 and get off the field.
Tinnerstadt to the air. Intercepted. Tyler Hinckley. Well, if he can't do it on offense, he might do it on defense. Hinckley, who will be called upon to run this team with the injury to Ryan Allen, picks off the Darren Tinnerstadt pass, and West Valley has good field position.
Going away from form, Capital on a 3rd and 4 situation goes with the play fake, and Tinnerstadt doesn't see Hinckley at all, trying to get the ball to Isaacson, and the 5'9", 180-pound junior Tyler Hinckley, much like an outfielder who makes the big catch and then gets to come up to bat in the next inning, makes the interception, and now gets to lead his team on offense. 3 turnovers in favor of Capital, or West Valley, unable to capitalize so far. Need to here. They need to get something going on offense, or some frustration will start to set in.
Chris Thornton with a carry. Watch the hit by James Scoville.
Boom, as John Madden would say. If I had a telestrator, I'd just make a big mess right there.
Ball at the 48-yard line. It was a gain of about a yard. There's Hinckley. Has yet to throw a pass as a quarterback. Remember, he did throw a pass, an incomplete one, but not a bad pass as a wide receiver. He'll go to the air here. With time, he'll tuck it under. A coverage sack, if you will. And he's back to the 46-yard line.
Morales and Rogers both downfield, both well covered. A good decision for Joe Ardoff's quarterback. See a nice little play fake a la Boomer Esiason. Looks real polished for a junior. Just doesn't get his eyes downfield a little bit. Looks like Morales may have been coming open a little bit. 3rd and long again for the West Valley offense.
Hinckley will put it up, going deep for Gavin Rogers. He makes the catch at the 18-yard line. How do you like that? Gavin Rogers out-wrestling Ryan O'Connor.
In the first half, Joe Fratty won a wrestling match, won a jump ball for Capital. This time, it's Rogers going up to get it. Nice job by Rogers going over the top of O'Connor. O'Connor with great position on the ball, but a better leap that time from the 6-foot Rogers. And that may be the big play that West Valley needed to rub those paddles together and jumpstart their heart.
Flag goes down, and the whistle will stop the play.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an emergency. Would the parents of Travis Carroll please come to the
Flag thrown at the line of scrimmage from the lineman. Indications are that Capital was offside. Indeed, Mr. Rosson says that's the case. And compound a tough defensive play as a penalty. Capital's got to make sure.
Encroachment on the defense. First down.
Make sure and keep their composure. Recognize that ball's not in the end zone yet. It's a defense that's played very well here this evening.
So it's first down and 5. Derek Geishan behind Chris Thornton in the backfield. It's Geishan. Sidesteps one man, but he couldn't get by Eric Peterson, who makes a nice hit and the stop. It'll be 2nd down and short.
Linebackers a strength for this Capital defense. Peterson, Dustin Smith, and Jeff Gregory, the heart of Capital's defensive success in 1996. Made a lot of big stops this season. None bigger than the one that they're trying to make right here. And West Valley's side, they've won a lot of really close ball games, particularly in the playoffs. They're certainly in one tonight. Opportunities rare.
2 tight end set. DeLorme is the man that Hinckley is looking for. Now he's just looking to get away. He does. Tyler Hinckley He's still on his feet, inside the 10, inside the end zone. Touchdown, Tyler Hinckley. An amazing run, and West Valley is on the board. He started it with the interception. He finishes it with a Fran Tarkenton-like jaunt into the end zone.
Put a red jersey on him and a number 8, and it looks like a right-handed Steve Young right there. The junior does a great job of staying alive. Not only does he avoid the big loss, he comes up with a big gain, and he's got a well-deserved seat on the bench.
A very important extra point, and it is good. Luke Urlacher adds it. Tyler Hinckley deserves a rest, but he's got to get ready. He's got to go back on defense. We have a football game. West Valley and Capital all tied at 7 in the Gridiron Classic. A simply incredible run by backup quarterback Tyler Hinckley.
Right about here, he's thinking, I'm just trying to stay alive. Fratty with a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tyler Hinckley. Unbelievable. Right here, he's just trying to stay on his feet, trying to stay healthy. Right here, he's starting to get greedy. It's a good job. Blocked downfield from DeLorme. Get the interception. Get the pat on the back. You saw Ryan Allen went on crutches right there, and a 53-yard drive early in the game from Capital after an interception for a touchdown, and ditto for Tyler Hinckley and the West Valley Rams.
And that's all Hinckley, because it was his interception that started. Then his completion to Gavin Rogers was a big one on that drive. Ryan O'Connor around the right side, and O'Connor is out to the 35-yard line. Good field position now for the Capital Cougars. That's the right ankle of Ryan Allen, who tweaked it in the final moments of the first half. The starting quarterback, who had such great numbers this year. That's why Tyler Hinckley's in the football game right now.
Nobody rooting harder for Tyler Hinckley than Ryan Allen. Got to be tough feeling. Senior year, lead your team to the state championship, not be able to finish the ball game.
Kentfield straight ahead to the 49-yard line. You get the sense that maybe Wayne Sortune will try to keep it on the ground, stay away from the turnover.
Again, inside running is the strength of Charlie Critchfield. See that there's a whole lot of Tacoma Dome turf for him to run on, and Derek Geishan, the first guy to get him and hit him hard enough to hurt himself. That's Derek Geishan, shaken up, 5'6", 160 senior.
7-7 football game. Joe Ordoff and his West Valley Rams are still alive on Fox Sports Northwest. Hard run here by Charles Kentfield, and an even tougher hit. Derek Geishan kind of got it from his own guy. Lachlan Alschuler coming over the top. Looks like he caught Geishan with his knee. 143 yards and counting on the ground. This is Cody Lee leaping over the 45 and landing on the 43-yard line.
Cody Lee again averaging almost 11 yards a carry. 33 carries on the season, 360 yards. Really answered the bell last week in the Stanwood game. 6 carries, 111 yards. This Capital team rushed for 401 yards last week, 12 yards passing. A lot better balance here this evening.
Derek Geishan apparently knows where he is. There goes Tinnerstadt. He's got a first down to the 32-yard line. It's a pickup of about 10. Darren Tinnerstadt.
Success breeds success. We run the ball successfully inside, then the play fake certainly draws the attention of the defense, and you've got a good athletic, good decision-making quarterback in Tinnerstedt. That time made a good decision to keep it. He keeps the offense on a roll. You got to do a better job of hanging on to the football. They've been down here before and turned it over. 3 turnovers for Capital.
Capital with the football. Kentfield to the 27-yard line. Kentfield picking up about 6.
Naismith and Kyle Camus with good blocks on that left side for the Capital offensive line. Kentfield 58 yards in the first half, adding severely to that total in the second half already.
What's impressive, Chucky, you look at those totals, 17 carries, 103 yards. You would expect he's got a 30-yarder or a 40-yarder in there. His longest gain from scrimmage is probably an 11 or a 12-yarder early in this third quarter. There goes Kentfield again, and he's down to the 22-yard line.
The ball control offense for Capital sets up a big play, too. Keeps the clock going. Running inside like this again. Good job up front. And then a good job by Kentfield of keep his feet moving, keep going forward. A lot of first downs. Capital just keeps grinding them out.
Cody Lee on an inside handoff to the 20.
TJ Wilder with penetration that time stuffed the blocker and then came off to make the play. Good job by the 6'1", 190-pound junior. West Valley fans glad to be tied up, and Joe Ordoff as well. New life here in the second half, and Derek Geishan with new life as well. With the domination from Capital. Did the same thing last week to Stanwood.
Dave Isaacson close to the first down. Brent Burnett made the stop.
Those fresh legs for Capital going to pay some dividends here in the second half. Griffin with a number of carries, Kentfield with a number of carries, Cody Lee with a bunch of carries, Dustin Smith with the touchdown. He's in the ball game again. Now Isaacson getting some carries. When you've got 6, 7 guys carrying the football, you've always got that bounce in your step. West Valley, conversely, going to be running out of small guys. Ryan Allen hurt, Geishan out of the ball game for a while.
Geishan is back in, and he's in on this stop. Kentfield stuffed on 3rd down and short, and we'll see a decision to be made now by Wayne Sortoon. Ricky Rico made the stop.
West Valley that time on 3rd and short, absolutely selling out inside. The run blitz. Look at all these West Valley bodies between the tackles right here. You see TJ Wilder filling the gap quickly. Forces Kentfield right into Ricky Rico, and Ricky Rico with the Bulldog Bronco throw.
Wayne Sortoon will have a few seconds to make his decision here on 4th down and 1, because we've come to the end of the road for the 3rd quarter. It was 7-0 Capital at halftime. We're all tied after 3 on Fox Sports Northwest. 7-7, West Valley and Capital all tied. West Valley trying to tighten up defensively. The good news is Derek Geishan back in. Todd Piggott?
Yes, Rich, just a slight concussion for Derek Geishan, and the good news is he does not think he's been Batman, and he's been cleared to play.
I'm Batman.
Very good. Very good. All right, 4th down and 1. Let's see what Wayne Sortoon will choose from in the playbook. Kentfield right behind Tinnerstadt, and Tinnerstadt goes straight ahead to about the 10. 1st and 10, Capital.
We've got a 260-pound center going against a 170-pound nose guard, and you've only got to pick up less than a yard. This call makes a lot of sense. You see that Mr. Tinnerstadt just hitches his wagon on the back of Eric Larson, and it's 1st down Capital.
Capital dominating in total yards and in first downs. Tinnerstadt. Kentfield. Touchdown! Charlie Kentfield. An impressive drive by the Capital Cougars. Number 22 on the season for Kentfield. 22 for Kentfield, an 11-yard run. And the point is good. Brian Reed adding the point. Here's another look at the Capital score.
Watch the inside linebacker right here. You see that Jamie Sloan just overruns the play. Number 31 opens up the middle. The stiff arm from Charlie Kentfield. 31 on defense right here. See, he goes a little bit wide, creates room for Mr. Kentfield, and no stranger to the end zone. Well blocked up front.
They ran behind Eric.
As they often do.
There's 3 of them up front. Eric Stoddard, Eric Peterson, Eric Larson, and don't forget Kyle Naismith and Kyle Chemis, the offensive line for Capital.
It's Eric the Great in that case. Charlie Kentfield knows how to do those end zone celebrations.
That's an immense amount of celebrating.
Well, it was
22 times.
He's going to get a penalty for excessive celebration.
That's Corey Dillon type numbers.
What's impressive about that drive is that Capital was able to answer West Valley's touchdown and say, yeah, you got yours, but we're going to show that we know how to dominate this game. We're going to come back, and we're going to use Charlie Kentfield to do it. 117 yards. First time visiting the end zone.
Louis Boudreau will kick it off for the Capital Cougars.
With LeBout. He's done a very good job kicking off. Puts it pretty deep. High school football, if you can get it to the end zone, it's automatically dead. This one's alive.
We jinxed Louis Boudreau.
Reverse, almost.
Alex Shui trying to do something with it. And he ends up at the 17-yard line. All right, the magic spun by Tyler Hinckley. He's going to have to come up with a bunch of it here. Hinckley's escapades on that last drive started with his interception, continued with his completion to a leaping Gavin Rogers, and then the memorable 12-yard jaunt, which took about 20 seconds to unfold.
That was covered a lot of ground. Got a lot of people grabbing at him, but did a great job. Defensive series for Mr. Hinckley less successful. Now it's his chance on offense to get West Valley back in the ball game, trailing by 7, 11:29 to go.
You can see he still has that defensive mindset. He's still got the glove on the right hand. Ricky Rico had a lot of room outside, but he went inside and ran into Kyle Naismith.
80 yards.
A lot of guys going both ways. Kyle Naismith, a big part of that last touchdown drive, the big left tackle for Capital, now making the plays on defense.
That to me was one of the toughest things about high school football, was going down the field on one way and having to turn around and play on the other side of the ball.
You'll have to tell me about that. I did play quarterback in high school. I was the starting quarterback my senior year. As I said, we were pretty mediocre.
Hinckley fires that one towards the mascot, and it's incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Joe Ordoff and the West Valley Rams having to do it with their backup quarterback. Good pressure. Naismith going both ways.
When you get to that championship game, certainly you're going to play with every ounce of effort that you've got, even if you're going both ways. And Kyle Naismith, you see, breathing a little bit heavy, but he knows he's got no place else to go after tonight. Got to take a couple days off and start basketball practice.
3rd down and 9. Hinckley going to put it up. Has some time and has a man. A nice throw to Kyle DeLorme, the tight end. And he's out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
With a crossing route to the tight end, always tough to defend. Hinckley again showing tremendous poise. 3rd and 9, the passing situation. Can avoid the, or actually ignore the play fake. Nice throw, nice catch. To make a play like that in a 3rd and long situation when Capital's got to be thinking pass, it's a feather in the cap of Tyler Hinckley and Kyle DeLorme.
DeLorme is a guy that has been a big part of this offense. He had 18 catches coming in, and that's the first time he's touched the football today. Ricky Rico outside. Oh, as he cut down. Ryan Riedel came up and made the stop.
A sign of a good defensive back is the ability to close once the play is determined. If the ball's in the air, close on it and go get it. If you're forcing the sweep, come up fast and make the hard tackle. Ricky Rico, 1,000-yard rusher. Nice tackle. Mr. Riedel. Big play with the interception in the first half. Certainly a big stop right there when it looked like Mr. Rico had room to ramble.
2nd and 10. Rico, nice cut, flag down. Rico down at the 46, with the flag sitting at the 42.
Another two-way player. Joe Frady making the tackle.
Holding against West Valley.
A 10-yard penalty.
10-yard penalty, point of foul.
10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
So it'll stay 2nd down, but it will turn into 2nd down and 16.
Ordoff going through the playlist, trying to find that 2nd and 16 play. You don't have a whole lot of those in your cheat sheet.
We ask the fans in the West Valley section.
I've been impressed with Tyler Hinckley. That last completion, he looked very comfortable in the pocket. Found his receiver.
Throwing the ball, he makes the play fake, looks relaxed. That's a lateral again, but this time not the double pass.
Ryan Morales with the catch, out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It's a gain of about 9. And another nice throw by Tyler Hinckley.
Let's see, one of the keys to success on that wide receiver screen is the ability of your lineman to get out and lead. Matt Archer this time, number 64. You can see him on the sprint out there to try to help Ryan Morales. Does a good job of getting downfield. Take advantage if that corner's playing way off. Ryan Morales took advantage. Got a lot of that 2nd and 16 back. Looking at 3rd and 6.
Hinckley, little swing pass. It's caught by Thornton, and again, a great stop by Ryan Riedel, who has a patent on that tackle. A low hit, and he keeps Thornton from a 1st down. West Valley has to punt.
5'11", 180 versus 6'2", 225, but the 180's coming with a few G's. He knows how to hit that right on that thigh pad, bring down the big man hard. Capital hurt by the holding penalty. Gets the 12-yard gain on 2nd down, but had too far to go to get it.
Urlacher, who's averaged 40 yards. Not a bad kick. Cody Lee is enveloped at the 25-yard line. Good special team work by Brent Burnett, along with John Hernandez. Capital has the football and the lead. The AA championship in its 4th quarter. 8:20 left in this football game. Can the Cougars hold on and win it? Capital on top of West Valley 14-7. The AA championship game with 8:20 left in it. Hope you'll stick around with us after this one. We will be joining Fox Sports News at about 10:30. It will roll on, so to speak, at 10:30 tonight. Fox Sports News. News of the passing of former commissioner of the NFL, Pete Rozelle.
Yeah, kind of sad. Largely credited with taking the NFL from kind of a makeshift operation on the run. He started in PR with the LA Rams and basically became the most powerful man in sports, running the most successful league in sports history.
Was he still a commissioner when you were in that league?
I believe his autograph was on the first ball I kicked.
So you kicked a few Pete Rozelle's. in your time. Here comes David Isaacson, out of bounds at the 40. No, he stays in bounds to the 48-yard line. A nice run by Dave Isaacson. It's a very deep backfield for the Capital Cougars.
Now only a junior gets the corner turn, gets the shove. Oh, strong ankles. Pick up a few extra yards. Remember, this is basically the number 4 or 5 running back for the Capital Cougars, making moves and making plays and averaging over 11 yards a carry.
45 yards as Capital's numbers in total, especially with this guy, Charlie Kentfield, are really starting to add up. 8-yard pickup for Kentfield.
Inside strength means the offensive linemen are doing a good job, and we talked about angles and setting up angles. Pretty good angle right there. Set up, you see the trap block. And Lucas Halpin on the block, helping Capital to double up the yardage number. Over 300 now. His team, remember, rushed for 400 yards last week, heading that way tonight.
Pretty simple right now. You've got a 7-point lead, 7.5 minutes between yourselves and a state championship. You give the football to Charlie Kentfield, because if West Valley can't stop him, the clock will run, and Wayne Sortune and his Cougars will walk out of here with a very large trophy.
They're looking to run clock. They also know that if Capital does, if they can get the ball in the end zone one more time, unlikely West Valley will be able to score twice.
Joe Ordoff needs a stop. In motion is Cody Lee. This is Isaacson. Dave to the 29-yard line. He's short of the first down. Chuck, that's a good illustration of what this offense brings, the wing T attack. You've got a bunch of guys moving around, guys going to the left, and then Isaacson comes back to the right.
You get that misdirection, then you get the big boys coming around. That time you saw Camus and Halpin again, kind of pulling over. The Erics doing their thing up front. Isaacson and his pals in that backfield are reaping the benefits as Capital continues to run clock, run yards, run Isaacson and Kentfield.
Under 6.5 minutes left in this football game. Nice hit by Jamie Sloan as he upends Kentfield. But Kentfield has the first down. It'll move the sticks and keep the clock rolling.
It's all about possession, keeping hold of that ball now. Charlie Kentfield starting to taste it a little bit, getting in the rhythm.
132 yards now. He had 202 last week.
Again, 9 seniors on this Capital offense. They're glad the game is in their hands.
Tinnerstad on the option to the 20.
Tinnerstad wanted to pitch that ball, but he kind of got himself stuck into the short side. And again, he's left-handed coming to the right. It's a little bit more awkward pitch for the lefty.
And I think a wise decision to keep the football, because it keeps the clock rolling. You pitch that ball and it probably ends up, the ball carrier ends up out of bounds.
He also, anytime that ball starts flying around that backfield, it raises a lump in the throat of Wayne Sartoon and raises the hopes of that West Valley sideline, a sideline that's not holding a lot of hope right now.
Kentfield straight ahead. And a cloud of dust, if you will, to the 15-yard line, and that's a first down. It's a gain of 5. Sticks will move, clock will move.
Move the chains, move the chains.
The Capital Cougars at 12-1. Runners up in the Black Hills League.
Overtime loss to Aberdeen Bobcats.
Had to beat Mark Morris to get into the playoffs. A huge win over O'Day. Then beating Linden last week. A win over Stanwood, a dominating win on the ground over Stanwood. TJ Wilder making the stop on Cody Lee. Last week, the Cougars racked up 401 yards on the ground against Stanwood.
Total 413 yards for the game. Stanwood's offense only able to generate 196. And Joe Ordoff just wants his offense to be able to get another chance. Defense needs to get off the football field and gives the boys a chance to score. This is a defense, remember, that has made big plays. 108-yard interception return to beat Prosser. They need a play like that now.
Tinnerstadt will keep it, and he'll be stopped back at the line of scrimmage. So 2 nice plays. This one by Brent Burnett and Kyle DeLorme. And so it's 3rd down and about 9.
See the play action inside again, trying to draw some people, but doesn't fool everybody. Brent Burnett stays home. The pitch man is covered. So Tinnerstadt decides to keep it. Capital needs to put some points on the board. They want to create a 2-score differential. Brian Reed, their short field goal kicker, has 3 field goals on the season. His extra points have been very true tonight.
3rd down and 9. West Valley needs a stop, and Capital took too much time. Tinnerstadt came all the way over to the sideline to get that play
It's the offense
from the coaching staff, and then had to race right back out, call the play, and get the team to the line. That's an awful lot to ask of your quarterback to get it done and get the play off in time.
Well, as he kind of wandered over to talk to Wayne Sartoon, I was looking around thinking somebody must have called timeout because he was obviously in no hurry. And that may be big if you're looking at not just yardages for 1st down, but that may bump you outside of the range of Brian Reed.
3rd and 14. Little reverse. Dave Isaacson. He won't get it. Brent Burnett with another big play. It's a gain of a few yards, and West Valley, with the clock just under 3 minutes, will stop the clock.
So what you get now, you see the replay and try to get a little chicanery there, and Isaacson trying to stay on his feet, trying to spin around. Timeout from West Valley.
West Valley has taken a timeout. Christian Russell, the field goal kicker for Capital, will think about this one. Capital with an opportunity maybe to put it away. We'll find out when we get back. 3 minutes left in this championship game. Joe Ordoff looking on. West Valley down 7, and Capital with an opportunity to increase the lead. 35-yard field goal attempt. Christian Russell, the junior place kicker, on its way, got a chance. He nailed it.
That's Christian Russell's first field goal of the season, and it couldn't come at a better time for the Capital Cougar fans. 10-point lead now. A little bit of heart racing right there for Christian Russell. He hits it hard, and he hits it true. And he's feeling pretty good. Incredible sensation. I'll tell you, there's a tremendous elation. You got it done. Your teammates counting on you, and you came through. And there's also a tremendous sense of relief that you went out there and you made it happen. And as a reward, gets to kick off.
And that really puts Joe Ordoff and the rest of the West Valley Rams in a bit of a hole right now, because they've got to score twice.
That's a huge field goal. That's every bit the game winner as a field goal on the last play of the game right there.
And Russell will kick off. 10 plays, 54 yards. Lots of Charles Kentfield. And Christian Russell to finish it off. Well, he boots it right out of bounds. Flags go down. And so West Valley will get pretty good field position now to start this drive.
It also doesn't run any clock
Penalty flag down.
with the ball out of bounds.
Wayne Sortun's not real happy.
I think the idea was there to keep the ball on the ground and get it downfield. I don't think the idea was to kick it out of bounds, run no time off of the clock, and give the ball to your opponent on the 35-yard line.
What do you tell Russell here? You know, I mean, hey, great kick. You just won the game for us. But what are you thinking?
That's right. What was that? Well, believe me,
Kick infraction will be on the 35. It's first down.
Nobody knows any more than Mr. Russell what he was trying to do and what he didn't do. He feels worse than Wayne Sartour, believe me.
Back to the Tyler Hinckley story here.
You see some serious defensive backfield play right here for Capital, too. The safety's well off the ball.
Little quick pop to Ben McMurray. He's out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Gain of 5.
Picks up 5. Ben McMurray. It's a good play for West Valley. You get 5 yards. They keep the clock running, though. They say that forward progress was stopped in bounds. West Valley. You see a little bit of confusion here. The officials making sure that the ball was forward progress stopped in bounds. Stop the clock. Now let's start it back up again. West Valley's got to be in a little bit more sense of urgency here if they want to get the ball down there twice.
Hinckley looking for Rogers, who made a great leaping catch earlier. Can't get a hold of this one.
The out and up that time, and a good job by Cody Lee of not buying the out fake. Those defensive backs at this point are just thinking, nothing behind me, nothing behind me. A good job that time, Gavin Rogers. You watch that little kind of NFL major college bump with the shoulder to try to create some space between Rogers and Cody Lee. Space created, but couldn't make the big catch. Joe Orloff knows that somebody needs to make the big play. See, Tyler Hinckley's done his bit in second half action.
And Hinckley threw it right to Cody Lee, and Lee may go. Cody Lee, he's 20. Lee to the 10, and he's drilled out of bounds. I don't know that that was a bad throw or a bad pattern. Ben McMurray running the pattern.
I think Hinckley anticipated McMurray going inside Cody Lee, not outside. More of a post move as opposed to the corner move. You can see right there, McMurray not even looking back.
And that's a killer as a quarterback when your receiver doesn't even know where the football is.
And that noise you hear is the door slamming shut on West Valley's comeback hopes. Cody Lee with his hand on the doorknob, slamming it shut. Big plays on offense from Capital, with certainly some big plays on defense as well. First touchdown set up by an interception, and right there, hammering shut.
It was Ryan Riedel's interception which set up the first score, and now Cody Lee brings it back near the 10 on the carry down to the 9 now. Kentfield, 25 carries tonight. A new AA title record is 27. I have a suspicion he's going to get the football at least one more time. If he doesn't get in the end zone, possibly twice. West Valley's hopes pretty razor thin right now. Kentfield will not get credit for this carry.
Trying to milk the clock a little bit. See that? Milk, I got it in.
You did.
Dairy farmers.
Good work. That's why you're the dairy ambassador, Chuck. You know, one thing about high school football that's different than college football, there's no play clock. You know, that was always tough in high school football. If you're a quarterback, is knowing exactly how much time you can run off the clock.
Wayne Sartour trying to get his offense a chance to get the ovation. Second teamers coming in and the first teamers coming over, get a chance to do some prolonged hugging. Mr. Kentfield won't break that record of Ryan Morrison. in 1986, most carries.
Straight ahead, the carry by Mike Aho. I don't know that I would celebrate this earlier. There's a minute left. West Valley can stop the clock 2 more times, and they'll choose to do it here. And so it's 3rd down and 9.
Mike Aho, the ball carrier.
Coach Wayne Sartoon trying to get the moment of glory for his first team guys and a moment of excitement for his backup guys to play in a Tacoma Dome championship football game. I don't think Darren Tinnerstadt looked very happy about that, though. I think he was looking forward to finishing the game out there on the field, maybe getting the ball in the end zone one more time.
Well, I mean, we've seen how turnovers have played a big part in this football game, and all you need is one fumble. I mean, remember how West Valley ended up beating Prosser. It was an interception in the end zone and a long return, and the first team is coming back in.
Maybe they were all tired.
I think, you know, a lot of times when you're a reserve, and especially at the high school level, you can work on your coach. Come on, coach. Now, coach. Now, coach. And if you work on them long enough, near the end of the game.
And these guys are from Olympia. They know how to lobby. They know how to debate.
17-7 Capital on top of West Valley. Capital with the football on 3rd down and 9. Now West Valley has one more timeout left. Capital just needs to hang on to the football, and maybe we'll see Christian Russell back again.
Get down to the 1-yard line for 1st down yardage.
Kentfield won't get a 1st down here, and let's see if West Valley calls the timeout or lets it roll.
I think we're gonna got the field goal team coming in for Capital, as West Valley does indeed call timeout. This is a short enough one. Christian Russell had his long field goal moment of glory, and now it's time for Brian Reed, the short field goal kicker for Capital, to come on out. He's got 3 field goals on the year.
Now qualify that for me, because Christian Russell's field goal was from 35 yards. This will be approximately a 31-yarder, so it's that must significantly shorter.
That must be the Wayne Sartoon must have a rule of thumb number.
Inside 35.
Yeah, 33 yards is maybe Reed's max. Now you see a bunch of other guys coming on the field now for Capital, and they may not get the chance to kick the field goal. They're just going to take a knee.
Well, there's a real danger if you try a field goal and it's blocked. That's very returnable for a score.
4th and 13.
There's been a lot of substitutions between the second team offense going on, coming back off, field goal team coming on, coming back off. He's trying to make sure he does the right thing here. His heart's racing a little bit too, you know that.
Capital didn't have enough guys on the field to begin with. They'll run this 4th down play. They can get down to the 1. Kentfield gets to the 12. West Valley will get the football, and the clock will stop on the change of possession.
Kentfield, the ball carrier.
That's a good decision by Wayne Sartoon. The one worst thing that could happen on the field goal is you can get it blocked and run back. This way you're not going to give up a score on a dive play, more than likely. Joe Ordoff looking at the clock, and Ryan Allen certainly amongst the most frustrated of the West Valley players, not able to lead the team that he's led for a full season, undefeated to this point in the second half.
Flags go down. Tyler Hinckley on the move, misses one, and is out of bounds at the 24-yard line. But the flag is back to the 15. Looks like holding.
Tackled by Joe Fratty. We have a flag on the play. Illegal receiver downfield.
How can an illegal receiver be downfield if it's not a passing play, Chuck?
Well, the flag came really early, too. I think what you may have had was almost like an illegal formation, because I looked when the flag went down to see if there was a 50 or 60 or 70 number downfield, and didn't see one. So I thought, God, maybe somebody, tight end was covered up or something and went downfield. soon as he dropped back to throw, the flag came out. Joe Ordoff wondering the same thing. Want the time back on the clock more than anything.
Oh, too many men on the field for Capital. That's
2 hands on the head, not 1.
Yes, got to study that sheet they put in the program.
Oh, everybody trying to make the big play. But the flag was on Capital. That's that prevent defense, Rich. Works very successfully. They don't put time back on the clock. You might as well line up with 12 guys every time.
Sure.
And run 5 seconds off every time.
Hinckley, a very calm, cool, and collected in the pocket until he goes down and goes down hard. James Stovall with the sack. And that might just about do it with 20 seconds left.
Stovall, the leading sack man for Capital. Speaking of sacks, Wayne Sartoon's got it in the bag. 10 and counting for the Capital Cougars.
One play left. Hinckley goes down, and the Capital Cougars are the Washington State AA champions here in 1996. Congratulations to Wayne Sartoon and all the folks in Olympia. Charlie Kentfield and the rest of his Cougars with a big night in the Tacoma Dome, winning their first ever state championship. We'll be back. 17-7. Your final. Capital beats West Valley. The WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Gridiron Classic, the Class AA Football Championship on Fox Sports, has been brought to you by Car Toys, a better way to go, and by Blockbuster Video. Make it a blockbuster holiday. Back in the Tacoma Dome, the Capital Cougars have done it. They are the state champions here in 1996 as they defeat the West Valley Rams 17-7. Let's go down to the field with Todd Pickett.
We're with Coach Wayne Sartoon, and Coach, the unfinished business is no more.
The unfinished business is no more. That's been our it's been our logo all year long, and seniors established that and kind of set the trend in August, and they just went to work. You know, kids are great to work with. The Capital High School kids are just something else. I'm stunned.
2 good groups of kids that have, as you said, met each other last summer and squared off here tonight. Great game on both sides of the ball.
You know, from my side, standing on the sideline, it was a good, hard-nosed, good football game, clean, and 2 good, disciplined teams, and we're just happy as heck that we came out on top. We've worked long and hard, and it's been a gradual progression, and we finally, you know, where we want to be.
Go take your kids over to that trophy. Congratulations.
All right, thank you very much.
Back up to Rich.
Thank you, Todd Pickett. The final score of this AA championship game, the Capital Cougars defeat the West Valley Rams 17-7. Congratulations for both schools on a tremendous season, which ends with a championship for that man, Wayne Sartoon and his Capital Cougars. For my director, Tim Lay, producer Michael Odino, for Chuck Nelson and Todd Pickett, I'm Rich Waltz. There's your final score. Goodbye from the Tacoma Dome.
Look at